special post-season show with Mark. We have so much to get to on this show, but first, let me let you guys know if you missed any of our past shows, not just from this season of Big Brother Canada, but from any of the past seasons. They're all over on our website, yourrealityrecaps.com/bbcan. And if you're watching the edited version of this in the future, you should have been watching us live on YouNow. Just head over to yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow. Become a fan so you are alerted every time we go live. We have Corey on Tuesday. Of course, no show tomorrow. It's Memorial Day here in the States if you're watching from Canada. And speaking of watching this show back later, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, hit that bell, leave a comment below if you're watching on YouTube, iTunes, 5-star rating, and a nice review. That really helps support our shows. Of course, so does becoming a patron at yourrealityrecaps.com/patron. Patrons get access to the patron-only group, weekly shows, prize giveaways, and of course, the after shows like the ones we're gonna do with Mark after this show. And lastly, if you have any Amazon shopping to do, use our link, yourrealityrecaps.com/Amazon. You don't pay any more, and it really helps support our shows. That being said, let's get to the man you all want to hear from. It's Mark!
What's going on?
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you, buddy?
I am doing great, Mark. It is good to see you here out in the world, and I really appreciate your special effect background.
Okay, I don't see it yet, but I trust whatever it is, it's good.
It's your blurry background.
Oh, right, yes.
Your little blurred out special effect camera thing you have going on. Now, I also, you are correct. Of course, I have special effects here on this show, Mark. Now, I don't think it's going to come as any surprise to you.
Yeah.
You might have been a little bit of a villain this season.
A little bit. I figured that out about like maybe third weekend. I'm like, this isn't going to be good after the show. But yeah, definitely the villain on the show, yeah.
So like, I was working out like different like overlays for you, basically. Okay. Like we obviously had your name.
Yeah.
I also could have went with Meanie, who hated my precious Adam.
We never hated each other. It was all love.
No, it wasn't all love. There we go. Meanie, who, you know, hated Adam, or a popular voted on one as well, the devil.
The devil.
So,
El Diablo. I'll go with that one.
El Diablo. No, Mark. I mean, let's start here because I mean, obviously, I think that do you like? Let's just start with: do you consider yourself to be the villain of this season?
I wouldn't say so much that I was the villain of the season. I would say there was a few people who may have shared that prestigious category. I may have been chucked in there. Just looking at the show afterwards, I was like, "Whoa!" But that's cool. Obviously, you know, it is a game, and you know, you build up a TV character, and you should get really emotionally invested and like mentally invested in the game. But you know, it's as Anthony says, it's all kumbaya right now on the outside world. Yeah.
It is all good. I mean, look, this is what I always hope for everyone, that, like, people play a game, we'll never know. Everybody always thinks we're watching live feeds, so we completely understand these people. We are not watching everyone 24/7 as much as everyone likes to believe it.
Yeah.
And I really feel like everybody deserves a second chance in the real world, myself included. I say horrible stuff during the season. Most of the time I'm trying to be funny, and it just doesn't come across that way. But I think everybody deserves a second chance. Just like I think everyone deserves a second chance to spread the word and let everyone know that we're live.
Yes.
Swear, megaphone, up arrow, go ahead and chat, spread the word, let people know that we're live. Become a fan so that you can start leaving your questions for Mark in the chat. Of course, you can tweet me them on Twitter with hashtag YRRLive as well. And Mark has agreed, #1 fan, Skype call or autograph. The choice is yours. I feel so bad, Mark, because you're so nice, and I feel like I'm going to bombard you with mean questions.
Hey, as my dad likes to say, he was born in New York, his dad's from New York, his grandpa from New York. They say, we're from New York, shoot from the hip. Let's do this.
And I am from New York.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, happy Memorial Day long weekend to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, first off, I want to say, you've got this question in a whole bunch of different ways from a whole bunch of different people, and I'm just going to kind of phrase it like this.
Yeah.
We saw right from the beginning, from your preseason interviews, you were like, I want to form an alliance, I want to get in there, I want to be part of something, and then I'm going to split their throats.
Yeah.
And then you had the chance to throat split.
Yeah.
And you did not.
So you're talking about during when I was HOH?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so with TV, it'll show obviously one part. The whole plan that week was a dual plan. I needed to ensure my safety for the next week, which I couldn't just put up Adam and Dane. The problem with putting up Adam and Dane is many problems. If I did that, first of all, the boys would know right away I betrayed them, and then I'd be completely on my own.
Right.
So I'd have to backdoor one of them. If I did put up Adam and Dane, regardless, most likely one of them's pulling themselves off the block.
Right.
Then I have to put up someone else, and because of their great social game, that person would be going home. So now Adam and Dane both still in the game, and now they all hate me, and I'm definitely going home the next week. So I had it planned out in such a way that I would put up Adam, one of the pretty boys, and then I would use the excuse, oh, I'm so mad at you, Adam, Sam, blah, blah, blah. I promise I really was not mad at Adam. I didn't care about everything. I love Adam. I really did. I just needed permission. I needed the boys to be on my side. I needed Dane and Anthony to both agree that putting up Adam was okay. Right. And then if Damien would have pulled himself off, or if Corey would have won and pulled Damien off, or even if Esty would have won and pulled Damien off, I was totally putting up Dane. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, so I needed to ride with the pretty boys. So in my heart of hearts, I really wanted to be loyal to the PB, but knowing that I was like the weakest link there, I had to cut them, or I had to at least try.
It's very much Vanessa Russo from our Big Brother. She always used to make like those moves and say, I just need a reason. She would just look for a reason. And you were looking for your reason. I know. I mean, I think this is what's hard about your game, because I think as fans, I think we can all agree, none of us loved watching the Pretty Boys steamroll the season. We want to see a back and forth. So, like, kudos to you guys and great game.
I loved watching the Pretty Boys steamroll.
Of course you did, until they steamrolled over you.
That's true. Absolutely.
But I mean, we also love to see someone that's gonna go against it.
Yes.
So it is a little bit hypocritical, even for myself, to be like, don't like what Mark's doing, when technically you're kind of doing what we wish somebody else was doing if it just wasn't you doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged knife. You'll have some people who say, oh, why aren't you loyal to the soil? And then others that will say, like, oh, you said you would break them up. Why didn't you?
Right.
Like, again, I can't just put up Adam and Dane. Most likely, again, one of them comes off, and then the wrong person goes home. I have to backdoor one of them. My mistake? Probably I should have put up Dane and Damien, or Dane and Esty, but that didn't happen. I decided to put up Adam. It seemed like the better play at the time, which again was a mistake. But with all this being said, I had the secret assassin, which completely steamrolled my week, or blew up my weekend. What can I do?
Well, that leads me to a Bridget with a B over on Twitter. I want to ask Mark if he felt like he was screwed out of his HOH by that secret assassin twist.
Bridget with a B, I was 1,000% screwed over with that twist. As soon as the secret assassin came up on the screen, it's like, and all the names started flashing, I knew right away it was most likely Corey. Like, look, I could have made the whole house happy and just put up Corey, but I'm not playing the house's game. I'm playing my game. My strategy was, if I did break up the Pretty Boys, if Adam or Dane did one of them left the house, most likely Adam. Dane had a very solid social game. Then I was already developing a good connection with Corey, and I was already developing a bit of a closer connection with Corey and Anthony. And ideally, my top five, if I want to go in final five, would have been me, Corey, Anthony, Damien Esty, or Damien Kira. That would have just been a more fair final five for me to kind of like compete, because I'm playing against like pro hockey players here and pro basketballers, and it was like, oh my God, they're nuts. But yeah, to answer your question, I was very much screwed over. When Corey left, I was like, that's a massive blow to my game.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of feel like, I'm trying to see, because you had so many questions about it, but here, I'm just going to ask it to you this way. What made you trust Anthony so much in the game? And do you really feel that he always had your back? Because I think what a lot of people are going to ask in various different ways is like, Anthony controlled your HOH. You weren't the one making the moves. So what do you want to say about that, or people who feel that way?
So my loyalty to Anthony really got a lot deeper, I would say, on day 28 when I got nominated by Sam. And that kind of threw me for a bit of a loop because I felt like I was building something with Sam. I was actually one of the few people in the house that was not saying I'd put up Sam. I actually wasn't like going around, hey, let's put up Sam, let's put up Sam. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. But when that happened, I went straight to Anthony, and Anthony's like, don't worry, we got a plan. Here's what we're going to say. Here's what we're going to do. And I felt like he very much controlled my sort of fate that week when it came to, getting me through the week and getting me off the block when I was up against Kike, especially with the blood veto. It was quite a stressful week. And I felt like a bit more of a loyalty to him. I was like, all right, well, actions speak louder than words in this game. Anyone can say I'm loyal to you, but this guy actually worked really hard to make sure, I stayed in that house. And so, I definitely built a closer trust and loyalty with him. There was, during my HOH, there was a period of time where I was thinking, putting up Corey would be the best play. It'd make the house happy. Everything would be all peaches and roses, and we're going to go on our merry way. But thinking about it in the long run, and Anthony did campaign to me this, and never underestimate a good campaign. Anthony said, keeping Corey is good for your game. And I had a lot of time to think about it. And I was like, he's right. And that Corey is very much good for my game. My personal game, should I ever need to go back against the pretty boys at the end of the game. So, that's where the loyalty to Anthony kind of came from and how I felt so close to him.
Okay, Courtney J wants to know, well, that being said, do you know that you telling Anthony that you would vote Adam over him is ultimately what sent you home? That up until then, Anthony would have done anything to protect you in the game.
Yeah, okay, so I actually haven't watched that episode yet, and that was a very small conversation, which I feel like on TV, they made this massive thing, and it's very possible, it is 100% very possible that was it. You know what? Sometimes it's hard to sort of stay zen in the house, and because of that, very much so, yeah, that could have been it. I was trying to expose the importance of, we need to work together, figure out a way to get out Adam, because no matter who Adam is up against in Final 2, he is going to win. Right. I don't know if they show this on TV, because again, I haven't watched that episode yet, is it's actually better for Anthony's game to keep Dane, because the only person that wasn't taking Anthony to Final 2 was Adam. And who has a better shot of taking up Adam, Dane or myself? Most likely Dane.
Right. No, I agree with that. And I think, well, I'll say this. A lot of people that are here and watching right now, these are live feeders. So these are the people that are watching everything that has happened. So, I mean, we saw that whole conversation and kind of the fallout that happened after it. That really was, for whatever reason, I mean, I guess I know what the reason is. You said you wouldn't, take Anthony or vote Anthony. Right. That was the switch that flipped in his head that was made him believe he could control Adam, I guess, more than you.
Very possibly. I guess I haven't really spoken endgame with Anthony yet, although we just spoke right before this interview right here. Yeah, we just speak about life stuff and whatnot. He's a good dude. But I guess in his idea, he probably wanted to set himself up in such a way that every single person would take him to Final 2. Right. And he's like, well, Mark isn't taking me, so he's got to go.
I mean, Anthony is another one. I think for most people, I mean, myself included, it's you and Anthony were, if we are looking for our villains or for our people that were like, oh, why are you annoying us? It was definitely you two.
Yes.
But again, I think we also, or I did, give you guys credit because at least you were playing a game. It's always frustrating to watch the people that don't play the game at all and annoy us. I would rather people kind of being, annoying but playing the game.
it was always a lot of fun to just chat with Anthony about
Right.
game. Just explaining different game mechanics as well. I don't know how much Big Brother he had watched before, but he's a very, very smart guy, and I felt like we related on a lot of different levels, and just like life levels as well. Just like things like we shared a lot of common interests in life, and it was just always fun just shooting the breeze with him, and like always scheming, strategizing, plotting. Even if the plotting didn't go anywhere, it was just still fun to just chat with him. And we're in the hot tub and just making up stuff. It was cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to ask, for the final time this season, thank God, are these after shows. I know you already know, so I have to change the wording of the question. However, what was it like when you found out that your pretty boy symbol meant lesbian?
Oh my God, I think it was like right after the show, like right after the wrap party, someone ran up to me and was like, that means lesbian. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Now it totally makes sense that Kira comes to Final Five. And I was like, this is incredible. But I thought it was just really funny. I'm like, whoa. It's right over my head,
It was definitely funny. All right, now I feel like that's my good segue, Mark. Because a lot of people, specifically one very vocal Maximus mom, I mean, feel free to block her on Twitter, felt like during the season you said some not so great things about Kiki, about Kira, and maybe other women. So I want to let you say what you want to say about that. Because for example, all of you guys talking in the bedroom at night. Now, I'm just going to let you say what you want to say about it, and then I'll interject something at the end. But go ahead. What do you want to say about it?
Absolutely. So going back to literally this is just a game, hey, this is probably day 59 or 60. I was just so frustrated with some of the people in that game, and I was like, I want to see this person again. I want to think about this person again. I am done. But that's what it's like when you're stuck in the house, and you're in this crazy house, and it slowly breaks you down mentally. Looking back, was it the right thing or the nice thing to say? Probably not. But you know what? I have love for everybody outside of the house. I actually truly mean that. After the game was over, I looked around, I'm like, game over. Good game, everybody. Give everyone some nice hugs and some nice handshakes, and hopefully we'll see you along in the outside world. Every single one of the house guests, all other 14 people, I love them equally. They're all wonderful, wonderful people. And one thing I truly believe is that there's good in everyone. There's a lot of good in everyone, especially the other house guests.
Well, perfect. I love it. Because I never know. Let's say in those situations where, we hear stuff like that. We've gone through it on, our Big Brother. Let's say when Jason Roy was talking bad stuff about people. Or, we saw you. And I never know. Are they saying this because you're not alone? You're in a group of people.
Right.
And I think in life, we've been in situations where we're around a group of people and we're just kind of saying what we think they want us to say so that we can have a better connection with them. And I'm not trying to give you an out.
Yeah.
But I guess I am wondering, was that more what it was about for you in those moments? Or were you just it really didn't mean anything? You were just blowing off steam. You weren't even really paying attention to what you were saying.
Right. It was a moment of definitely blowing off steam, just shooting the breeze with the boys and everything. And I was just like, this is so much. There wasn't any game strategy behind it or whatnot. You blow off steam and you say a few things. There was definitely a few house guests in there that we definitely butted heads at some point or another. And you know what? It's a game, and whatever was said or written about me, whatever I may have said, this is we got a piece of white paper waving the white flag, right?
Okay.
But yeah, it really is. You know what? And I've reached out to a good chunk of the house guests. Not everybody yet, but slowly making my rounds. And it's nothing but love, and I truly mean that. Like I said, in the game, things get heated, but after the game, it's all kumbaya.
So and look, and I truly, again, I will just repeat it, I think everybody does deserve a second chance in the real world. I think Mark deserves a chance to show us the type of, how he acts in the real world, not in a game, for money and prizes and yada, yada, yada. So then, that being said, have you talked to Kiki yet, post-season?
Yeah, that's a good question. Absolutely, yeah. She reached out about a week ago, and we just had a quick conversation. Looks like she's doing really well.
Love it.
Yeah, we had a good combo, and things are looking good. Yeah.
And that's the most important part. I think
Yeah.
if the issue between the people is fine, then it's none of our business anymore.
I like it. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you want to just chuck all the questions in there, go for it.
I'm chucking. I'm going to keep chucking all the questions at you. Becca wants to know, are you still in radio? And have any stations reached out to you post-season? And I don't know how I didn't know this.
Okay, so I not anymore. I actually left radio about 2 and a bit years ago.
Okay.
I decided that I was going to go traveling instead, so I became a tour guide. And so I was a tour guide from 2017 to pretty much now, or right before the show. And then afterwards, I've had some meetings with some people that work in radio, so just some of my old coworkers, just to sort of see what's out there. I'm not 100% sure if that's the avenue I'll be getting back into, but it's definitely the options are definitely open on the table. But well done, Becca.
Okay. I'm looking for your full perfect. Here we go. I want to take another one from Twitter, but for some reason it cuts it off on here. So what was Mark's? Oh, this is from MNDJME. Wants to know, what was Mark's reason for targeting Damien, a potential number for him during his HOH reign, after consistently talking about making a big move? So why did you go after Damien?
Okay, so when I put Adam and Damien up, the idea was that Damien was going to be the pawn. I was actually really hoping Damien could pull himself off. It was kind of a weak play because most likely Adam would be pulling himself off. But I figured if Corey won, if Damien won, if Esty won, again, not the most likely opportunity that Damien would pull himself off, and that he would just be like a pawn for a bigger opportunity. Once Adam pulled himself off, I was like, all right, well, really all I could do now is put up Esty, because those are 2 votes that are against me. Damien and Esty were in an alliance, the British Columbia Alliance, with Kiki, who had already left, and with Dane. And they didn't really have my best interests in mind if it came to me versus somebody else on the block, maybe me versus Kira, but anyone else, I'd pretty much be toast. So they're just 2 votes, regardless of what their performance was in the game with HOHs or POVs. That's 2 votes that weren't my way, and one of them had to go. I just felt that like Esty, I had a better chance of maybe beating Esty, so Damien was the one who had to go.
And I'm apparently an idiot. That was from M, as in Damien's girlfriend.
I noticed the Twitter handle.
Yeah, I don't ever read Twitter, the actual people's Twitter names, until I'm doing this, and I'm a moron. Well, then, in that case, I feel like we have to ask her a follow-up then. Post-season, you said that your favorite moment was Damien leaving during the double eviction. M wants to know, why is that your favorite moment?
Did I actually say that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey buddy. No, sorry about that, Damien. That was not my favorite moment. I don't know how that happened. You know what? When you leave that house, you're very loopy. You say things you don't even mean. You're just like, you're all over the place. But no, that definitely wasn't my favorite moment. I would say maybe it was probably my favorite moment in regards to, because I was still riding the wave with the pretty boys. We were like, oh, we're almost there, kind of thing. But no, actually getting the joy out of Damien leaving, there was no joy there. Like, just watching him leave was not fun. Right.
I mean, there could have been joy in the moment. I mean, we all are playing a game. We can't hate you for enjoying like a move happening that helped your side. But I mean, I get it. Plus, Damien was the prettiest of the people not in the pretty boys.
The prettiest of them all, absolutely.
The prettiest of the not... I forget how it goes. I still can't remember it. The prettiest boy not in the pretty boys. I'm never going to remember the quote correctly, but somebody said it and it was good. Also, let me take a question from Melanie, who wants to know, who would you have taken to the final 2? And, all right, who would you have taken to the final 2? Let's start there.
Definitely would have taken Kira. Kira was my ticket to victory. I don't think it would have been a sweep, although I do believe that if I had taken Kira, meaning if I had taken out Dane, Adam, and Anthony, I definitely would have won the game against Kira. There was a point in time in the middle of the game where I was considering taking Anthony, but just like watching through the game, how like things got more and more ruthless. I'm like, this guy is an absolute legend. Hey, there's no way I'm beating Anthony either. So Kira was my ticket.
All right, so I think people want to know it kind of in this way. Let's say you are in Final 3. It's you, Dane, and Anthony. You get to pick who to bring. Who are you bringing?
You know what? I probably would have brought Anthony. No, actually, no.
That would have probably been good.
That. Yeah, oh man, what did I say? I don't know. That's a good question.
You know.
Yeah, I probably would have brought Anthony.
I think you would have brought Anthony. I think that would have been a smart move.
Well, yeah, he's most likely Anthony. Just, I mean, I feel like I was losing either way, but maybe I had a chance against Anthony. I don't know. Yeah, probably Anthony. We'll go with Anthony.
Okay, so let's talk about votes, because I know a lot of people like to know what would have happened in, like, the different scenarios as well. So if it was Dane and Adam up there, who would you have voted for?
Most likely Adam. That's actually a really good question. I have been asked that before. I would say Adam.
Okay.
And yeah, the reason why is just Adam was a target since day one. Adam like fought his living heart out in that game, as did Dane. They both did, but Adam was like, he was like a Marine. He was like a freak of nature, a player that we will never see again probably for a very, very long time. Adam had all the qualities of a good Big Brother player. And you know what? Even when things were going against him, he still fought his way through the game. And I have a lot of respect for Adam. So most probably Adam.
I think a lot of people, I mean, myself included, it was why I said it after your phone interview. I thought a lot of people were really shocked to find out there was any scenario you wouldn't vote for Anthony in the end. So if Anthony is sitting next to anyone, are you always voting for Anthony? So let's say if it was Anthony and Adam. Are you still voting for Adam?
Yes, if it was, I actually was truthful there when I told Anthony. Yeah, I was voting for Adam. Yes.
Yeah. And is there anybody that Kira could have been sitting next to that you would have given them your vote?
I don't know. You know what? Maybe against Anthony. Well, here's the thing. Like Anthony, I would have given Anthony my vote. Anthony versus Kira. But here's the thing. If Kira would have. They took down the Pretty Boys. They broke up the legacy. I went. And then if they would have won and taken down Adam and Dane, like that's a lot to consider. I mean, you just took out the best players in the game single-handedly. That is like not borderline incredible. That is massively incredible. I'd have to give it some consideration. It's a tough one to say.
It is. I mean, I think a lot of people don't give Kira a lot of credit for what she did for what they did in the game, but I think that they, did do something that nobody else could do.
Right. They pretty much pulled off the impossible. Yeah,
make a move against the Pretty Boys, which a lot of people tried or didn't really know about and couldn't do. Melanie wants to know why you said earlier that the house wanted Corey out, but why specifically were you against putting Corey up when you knew that the whole house wanted it? So was it any specific reason, or just was it about feeling what was best for your game?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and absolutely, it's what's good for your game. You don't do what's good for the house necessarily in Big Brother. You do what's good for your game. Maybe at the beginning, the first 2 weeks, just make the house happy, let a few weeks roll on by. But Corey was actually a vital, integral piece to my game, and I felt that if she was still in the game, I was building a very good relationship with her slowly, and she could have done some serious damage. I felt that really the only way the Pretty Boys could have been broken up once Sam left was either internally or with Corey. And I needed Corey. I needed Corey so bad in that game. And I knew that no matter how mad people were with me, if Corey was to stay and maybe Damien or Esty were to go, even if they were to win next week, I would go up as a pawn next to Corey. Most likely Corey would have gone home. So aside from being a vital game piece for me, she was also an incredible shield. And she was awesome at comps, and I'm sure we could have done a lot of damage together.
John S. wants to know, Mark, why do you think that Kiki and Esty had it out so much for you in the beginning of the game? They really turned Damien against you, and that video he saw in Leon's Lounge didn't help any favors with you and him regarding him trusting you. So I guess that's a lot of questions. Let's start with, why do you think Kiki and Esty had it out for you in the beginning of the game, or do you feel Esty and Kiki had it out for you in the beginning of the game?
I thought we built something good at the very, very beginning. Actually, I don't know, a lot of people might not know this, but if you're watching the live feeds, maybe you do. That initial alliance of Damien, Dane, Esty, Kiki, I was initially the Damien, and then I didn't last very long. But you know what? I think a lot of it may have had to do with the Mackie vote. I was gung-ho on Mackie leaving. Nothing personal, just Mackie was a very strong player and I didn't believe he was on my side. So I campaigned for him to go. If you watch live feeds, you'll see there's more than one conversation about that. I really wanted him out. Yep. And they weren't. Esty had a very close relationship with Mackie, so I felt like that didn't help any favors. Also, at the very beginning of the game, I was trying to play very Switzerland and not trying to get in anyone's business, not share too much information. I know they weren't very too happy with me being very vague and whatnot. So that didn't help in so far as building a good relationship with them.
Speaking of working with people, Della G says, hi from Calgary, and why didn't you want to work with Chelsea?
I would have loved to work with Chelsea. I actually just saw Chelsea last night at the bar. She's doing great. I absolutely wanted to work very much with Chelsea. And it unfortunately turned out to who they were on the block against. So Chelsea versus Kira, I felt Kira was a better play to stay in my game, for my game to stay. But I very much wanted to work with Chelsea. It also didn't help once Chelsea found out about the boys alliance, because I feel like they would have tried to she would have tried to break up the pretty boys, which, knowing Chelsea, she probably would have pulled it off. But the problem is she would have maybe tried to send home Dane and maybe put me up as a pawn, and most likely I would have gone home. If anyone from the pretty boys was leaving first, it was most probably me.
Right. Yeah. So then, I guess what I know for me as a fan of the show wonders then, if you knew that in the game, if you knew you were the lowest person on the totem pole within this alliance, why not start to try and build your own army on the side?
The $1 million question. All right, so I don't have an answer. You know what? That's probably what I should have done, and I didn't do it. I failed to execute. Looking back, I probably should have built a good relationship with Kira. I found Kira actually would have been a great person to work with, and Damien as well. I felt Damien's a lovely dude and honestly one of the best people I know. Game wise, I felt like I was just struggling trying to build a relationship. Right. Very much, he was very close with Dane. They had the hockey boys thing going on, and I was like, if I'm gonna get this guy to turn on Dane, that's gonna be impossible, man. And Dane had an incredible social game, and you know what? I failed to execute. Yeah.
So then that's what you would do different if you had to play again. You would, because I know a lot of people were asking that. Would you play again?
I definitely need a few years to sort of decompress, but yeah, maybe a year or two. But yeah, I definitely would give it some serious consideration, especially if it was BBUS. It'd be kind of interesting to maybe try the other side as well.
Oh, they'd eat you alive, Mark.
I know.
Do you have citizenship here?
Yeah, I'm actually originally from New York, so...
Right. You did say that. So then, yeah, you totally could. Okay, and what would you do different if you played again?
I'd bulk up and win a lot of comps. And you know what? If I found that especially during the beginning of the season, when you were that strong guy winning comps, people respected you, and it was very okay to run up to somebody and be like, I don't like you, and I'm going to put you on the block if you were that guy winning comps, because what are you going to do about it? You don't like me, and I talk smack about you. Okay, put me on the block. I'll win POV. I'll take myself off, and then you're going home next week. Unfortunately, I just didn't have those abilities. I couldn't win comps. I was struggling in that department, and you got to be really careful if you're struggling winning comps. Just who are you talking to? What are you saying? Because it might get back to you, and then you go on.
Sure, and it also depends on the cast and the season too, because sometimes winning comps is a great thing. I mean, people could argue the Pretty Boys always winning comps is why you guys never had to turn on each other until you didn't, like towards the end of the game. Or the flip side, Sparkly Eye says, do you and the Pretty Boys not realize that you could have won the HOH for the Final Four if you just hadn't gone against each other?
I will answer every question in the world except for that question. I 100% noticed that. We were trying to beat each other at our own game. It broke my heart. It did, because we could have literally just said, Anthony, don't buzz in. Adam, and we could have just communicated with each other. It could have been the most massively colluded HOH Big Brother would have ever seen, and we could have easily won it, or it would have gone down to a tie, and then at least we would have had a shot. But it wasn't meant to be. And I was trying to go with the opposite. Let's just everyone buzz as fast as possible, and that will just automatically knock Kira out. But that's not the good strategy.
Speaking of competitions, Daniela D wants to know, what competition did you like the most, and which one did you like the least?
My favorite one. That's a good question. Daniela, is that who it's from?
Daniela, yep.
Daniela, thank you for the question. I would say favorite competition would be Drunken Speeches, because I won. It was fun. I actually got to use that poem to some good use. And the least favorite was probably Pipe Dream. I'm just not very strong like some of the others, right. Physically, these guys working out every single day. And it was actually really, really difficult. Like Pipe Dream was probably the most difficult challenge. You had to hold on to that pipe, and you're sweating, and you're falling down, you're trying to grab back onto the pipe, and it's like it's not smooth, and it's like scraping against your arm a bit, and you're just holding up your own weight. It wasn't that easy, and props to Corey. She took it down.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys did that. A question from chat, I think Melanie S. Did you know that Corey, Anthony, and Dane had a final 3 before yours? So technically, they were more loyal to Dane than you.
Absolutely, yeah. Anthony had told me about that. You know what? I feel like some people say, oh, you had a final 2 with that person, so I can't trust you. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of the game, everyone was making final 3s and final 2s, and I actually never made a single final 2 or a final 3 with anyone. People approached me for a final 2, but I never made a final 2, and I just figured things would happen organically as it did. Obviously that didn't work out for them. It was probably just there to create more of like a trust thing, and I'm sure Dane would have rolled with it. Absolutely, Dane was set up in like every which way in the house. He had a massive spider web where everyone just sort of connected back to Dane, so that was perfect for him. I was aware of it. I didn't really think too much of it because there were so many final 3s and final 2s just flying out there.
Kayla G says, one thing I wanted to know for forever, so I have to ask this, because this has been wiring this for a whole life.
Yeah.
Why didn't you recognize Sam as a number on the Pretty Boys side during the game and then keep her longer? And Kayla does have a point. I mean, Sam really wasn't going. I mean, yes, you ended up being up there, so it is like, but I guess I can't speak for Sam, but it did seem like she would be a number for you guys more so than against you guys had she stayed in the game longer, is what people think. So what do you want to say to people that think that?
You know what? Maybe, again, I haven't watched the full show, so maybe that's what it looks like. I felt the gist of it was Sam knew about this boys' alliance from early on, or at least speculated about a boys' alliance, because that's really what it boiled down to, was a lot of speculation of who was in this boys' alliance and how serious was it, and they were trying to take some shots. I don't know if Sam really had the boys' best interest in mind.
I think she had Adams.
Yeah, she had Adams, absolutely. And that was one of the big reasons why I voted Sam out, was there was no way I was letting a power couple like that just steamroll their way through the game. If we did not get Sam out that week, most likely Adam wins the next HOH, and it's going to go back and forth. And I was like, you know what? Sam's in jury. Congratulations, Adam. You make it to Final 2. That's 14.3K in equity or whatever it is. Don't quote me on math here, but you got your vote right there. But there's a very good chance you two can go to Final 2.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Adam had Sam. Anthony had Corey.
Yeah.
You could say Dane had Esty.
Yes.
And you tried with Kiki. You tried to have a Kiki. So, I mean, yeah, it is interesting. I just wish we could see the alternate paths. Like, what really would happen? Would Sam's loyalty to Adam really have protected you for until later in the game? Would Corey's loyalty to Anthony really had protected her? Because it was just interesting to me how the pretty boys were like, you need to branch out. You need to find somebody else outside of this circle. But then at the same time, and then let's kill that person of the other people's, didn't make sense to me when you guys were going through. I mean, I get for you, you ended up on the block because of it. So for you, I get it.
Well, okay, yeah. So absolutely, everyone's taking their own game into mind as well. And yeah, I would say Adam kind of got like messed over a little bit because of it. But I was looking at more along the lines of like how close was Adam and Sam's relationship. It was on a deeper level than just a game relationship. It was like, you know, they're amazing. They're like a beautiful couple together, and I'm so happy like for them and everything, and like seeing their Twitter and everything just blowing up, and like, you know, they're Canada sweethearts. That's awesome, but that's not good for me in the game. Like,
yeah,
that would, you know, with Dane like putting, you know, voting Esty and Damien out within the span of maybe like 40 minutes on like a double eviction night, like that's, you know, that shows, you know, hey, I really like both of you, but this is a game, and I came here with a specific goal in mind. Mm-hmm. I just felt that Adam and Sam, they had such a close connection, and it would have got even deeper that maybe it would have put things in a different sort of route.
Now, I cannot believe, and I mean, I can believe that we're already 45 minutes into the show.
We are indeed, yeah.
So, let me ask you this, because you still have a ton of questions. Are you good to, like, stay a little longer to, like, go over more of the stuff for your fans? Because I think some of these are, like, really good questions that I think is good if people hear you answer what you're thinking. Okay, so, but let me again remind everybody really quickly, obviously, become a fan here so that you are alerted when we go live. Like I said, Corey on Tuesday, and then I believe Wednesday might be Eddie or, oh God, Eddie or somebody. The rest of the people are coming on later in the week, but the next one is Corey. It's Memorial Day, everyone, and I've done these every single day for 2 weeks now. Become a patron, and keep the questions coming. Actually, you know what? Don't keep the questions coming. We have enough, and I've been reading over them, and they are good. So, all right, let me go into this one from chat. Did you find that being in the house was more mentally challenging than you thought it would be?
Yes and no. It was, the house itself was fine. It was just the slow breakdown. Like the first week was fine, second week was great, third week okay, and then it's just like slowly breaks you down. So it's not just like you're chucked in there and then all of a sudden you're going nuts. Right. It's like a very slow form of just like completely like, you know, breaking you down and like trying to really test your limits and see how much you can handle. And I admit, like I got heated in some situations and I was so upset. And I'm like, no, at myself afterwards. I was like, no, Mark, you got to stay calm. You got to relax and you got to chill. Right. But it's just like, like, you know, you get so heated at some points.
Courtney J wants to know, what were your thoughts after you found out, or maybe you don't know this yet, that Anthony gave up on the final HOH. So Anthony obviously didn't know days or study days, and he explains why. So check out our show if you want to know why he did that. But what do you, Courtney wants to know, what did you think of when you heard that?
So actually, good question, Courtney. I did find that out from Kira right when they walked across stage to the final jury spot. They leaned over to me and were like, yeah, Anthony. So did he give up or did he time out? I'm not sure what the story was there.
Oh, God. Oh, well, chat will tell me. I'm pretty sure he just kind of said, like, I'm done, I don't know. Because he knew he didn't know the days. So it was very much like Tim from...
Right, yeah.
It was just like, there's no point to me doing this. I don't know. He gave up. He gave up. He quit. Okay, so he quit. He quit. He gave up.
Okay. You know what? Yeah. You know, Anthony had a really, 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 really good social game. And I mean, I have to speak for Anthony here, but I'll have to talk to him after, maybe ask him this, because I haven't actually spoken to Anthony about that final challenge. But I guess maybe Anthony was thinking, you know what? Anyone's going to take me to final two, and I'll explain to the jury the incredible social game I played, and it'll sway in their favor. So he probably felt, you know what? At the point where I am, I don't even need to work on my days. But again, this is me speaking on from what information I know. I'll have to actually get Anthony in on this.
Well, here, I'm going to say this. I did ask Anthony, and he does completely explain it. Check it out. It's over on our website, yourrealityrecaps.com/bbcan. But Mark, that is not what Courtney wants to know.
What does Courtney want to know?
Courtney wants to know, how do you feel about it? As someone who wasn't in the game, who probably would have liked to have been there fighting for a chance, what is a player like you? I guess Courtney's asking, what does someone like you think when you hear he just quit at Final 2?
It breaks my heart.
Yeah. It does. It was sad. It definitely
was. I want everybody to gun for it. Like it's, you know, that's the last thing on their mind. The only thing left for them to fight for in this world. But yeah, like I want everybody to go out and just kill it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Miriam wants to know: did you watch the Brigade season of Our Big Brother, season 12, to know what your alliance was modeled after?
You know, that's the only season of Big Brother US that I've watched was season 12, the only full season. And I've watched a lot of clips on YouTube. And yeah, when Adam suggested this alliance, you know, because Adam was sort of like the forerunner, he's the guy who sort of created this alliance. He said he wanted it very much to be like the Brigade. And I was like, yep, I definitely know what that is. And yeah, let's go with it all the way to the end.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Hit me.
That was the season of Our Big Brother I was going to be on. I mean, again, I shouldn't say I was going to be on. I made it to finals, and then I had to pull out for personal reasons. But it's always weird to think. That's why it's my favorite season, and everyone hates 12. Everybody hates season 12.
You are going to be Reagan.
I would have been the Reagan. Yep.
All right.
I would have been Reagan.
Stop talking about production.
I know, don't worry. Whatever. I wanted to get into my feelings. Okay, let me take another question. Oh, very important from Solara wants to know. I'm gonna probably say one of your most hard-hitting questions. She wants to know if you're single.
Solara, I am single. Yeah.
Follow up, are you ready to mingle?
Am I ready to mingle? Well, yeah, you know, if the right one rolls along, I am very open to meeting the right person. I will say this. Damien was an excellent person to talk about when it comes to like relationships and stuff like that. Actually, if you go into the deep dark web, there's somewhere on YouTube where I have this really long conversation about relationships. It's in the have not room. And, you know, I kind of came in the house pretty jaded, and I was like, yeah, no, it's definitely never going to happen. And like just speaking to Damien and like hearing his story about, you know, just life and how he, you know, sort of met Ems and everything, and, you know, how all the pieces of the puzzle came together. I was like, you know what? That gives me a lot of inspiration. I like that.
That's very disappointing. I really thought when you started that story and said it was a video of Damien on the deep dark web, all the girls and gays were going to get exactly what we wanted, and then you went into something about Big Brother and I tuned you out. So let me ask you your next question.
All right, go for it. Yeah, no.
You're getting this from a ton of people, but I'm going to take it from BB a little bit. Mark, did you ever finish your poem/song that kept your days and comps straight, or did you give it up when you went to jury? I mean, how would he keep doing it after? I mean, I guess you could add what happened in jury that day, but go ahead.
Very possible. So BB Little Bit, was that from him?
Yep.
Okay, good question. The answer is yes. It goes all the way until day 62. I did finish the poem, and I did it just because I wanted to hold my head high, saying that every single day I was in the house, and a day that something happened, I would have a poem to go for it.
I have to say, I truly think, as somebody that has a horrible, horrible memory, I have to say, I thought that was one of the most amazing things. I even think the people that like weren't a huge Mark fan saw you do that and were like, that's amazing. You need to make a YouTube video of you doing that.
Okay.
A whole entire thing, and I'm telling you, people will like quote that on future seasons of Big Brother. I just think that was so impressive that anybody can just on the spot spit that out completely and have the facts in order. I also don't understand how it helps you in a competition if you have to run through your entire thing before you can get to the day. Go ahead.
First of all, I really appreciate that. And the reason why I created the poem was it helped with like different things in school. Like, you know, you make little poems, you get different memorization techniques down. I figured it's the only way I could do it. We're not allowed pen and paper in the house. So it worked for me. Game boards work for different people. Poem was working for me. I did have to mutter like an idiot 24/7 walking around. You see on the live feeds, I'm doing a lot of this. That's actually me just going over the poem.
Right.
And for your answer for the competition, I did get asked this a fair bit. I don't need to start the poem every single time from day one. If you just give me a day off the top of my head, I'll be able to just spit it out. So like, for example, when they did drunken speeches, I would just think to myself, okay, that was a veto or an eviction day. And then I'd be like right away, okay, so day 27, I'm in heaven, Chelsea's gone, we're down to 11. But check this out, I got a prediction, tonight's going to be a double eviction. Yeah, so just stuff like that. And
is very impressive. It is very impressive, Mark. Kathleen P. wants to know, did you know, well, I guess you do because you said you watched it, but did you know that Corey was required to make 3 final 2 deals within 24 hours to stay in the game? Were you someone that she tried to make a final 2 deal with?
I didn't. I only found out afterwards, and it was so crazy because in the house, obviously, I did not know. Corey had already left, and I was having a conversation with Kira, and Kira came over to me, and they said, you know, I don't know if Corey really gets the game because she came over to me, and she wanted to make a final 2 right away, and I was like, no, Corey definitely knows the game because Corey once told me that she only watched season 6, but then she once slipped and mentioned something in season 5, and I was like, hang on a second, you definitely watched more than just season 6. Then I found out afterwards that she had this mission, and Corey couldn't complete the task with Kira because Kira's like, we don't want to do the final 2, but they did get the other final 3. So I didn't know until the end, which was pretty crazy.
Right. Okay. Oh my God, you have so many good ones. Sparkly Eye wants to know thoughts on Anthony, on having Anthony's back during the Adam fight, but then Anthony turning around and voting you out.
Oh my God. Okay, that was probably the most tense moment in the season because this one we knew the Pretty Boys were being blown up. And Anthony gets pulled into the HOH, and then Kira's like, come here, Mark. And so I come in, and Adam is basically spitting 100% the truth, saying, did I not tell you at the hot tub, or did you not tell me to put up Esty and Kira? And then I went to Kira, and he's like literally saying step by step by step, everything that exactly happened. And I looked at Anthony, and I'm like, I hate this, but I'm going to have to flat out lie. And like, I went over to Anthony afterwards. I was like, you know, buddy, I had your back there. And, you know, he was like, yeah, I know, I appreciate it. But that was such a tense moment, and like, especially with Adam running down the stairs after, and then like storming back up the stairs and giving Anthony a big hug. And, you know, it takes a lot out of you to watch these 2 guys, 6'5", 280-pound guys, just hugging it out and being like, I love you, man. And they're crying. I'm like, oh my God.
It didn't take much out of Dane. Dane just sat there and ate a sandwich the whole time. That was my favorite part, is Dane is just literally sitting there eating a sandwich. You guys are like screaming at each other, like from the floor to the balcony. Dane's just like, la la, turkey and bologna. And then I said the most Canadian thing ever. I'm like, here we go, they're gonna fight, here we go. What? Why are they hugging?
It was incredible. Dane told me he was stress eating afterwards. He ran down to get something to eat. I was just like pacing back and forth like a tranquilized cougar in a zoo, just being like, oh my God, I can't handle this. This is crazy. And then he storms up the stairs, gives Anthony a hug. I'm like, wow, what did I just see? Yeah, so it was like too much.
It was like, that was very weird. Debbie Dawn says, I just want Mark to know that had Mark kept Adam and made a final 2 with him, at least Mark would have gotten 2nd place.
Good. It's a good point, Debbie. I wasn't playing for 2nd. I was playing for 1st or bust. Yeah, I can't. No,
but I mean, you could technically say that about anybody.
Yeah, Absolutely. Well, you know what? With Kira, I did feel like I had a shot at winning the 100, and you know what? That is I did see quite a bit of a debate about that with some different podcasters and whatnot. But I felt, you get this certain feeling in the house. You see one thing on TV, but you get a feeling in the house. I felt, especially if I had won towards the end, I had a good shot of winning the 100 against Kira.
Follow up from Debbie Dawn. How do you feel about chickens? And she literally means the animal.
Okay, chickens. I love chicken. Wait, like live chickens or like
live chickens?
Oh, okay.
She raises chickens.
Ah, cool. I haven't had much experience. I'm a city boy. I've never lived in a city of under 1 million people, so I don't typically see live chickens on a day-to-day basis, but I don't really have a problem with them.
I always tell her they taste delicious.
Delicious, especially with ketchup.
Right. Ew, gross. Here was, I'm going to say this kind of as like a general question from chat. I'm going to reword it a touch. Mark, do you feel that you were a floater in this game, or that you were a contributing member to your alliance?
It's a very good question. And you know what? Truth be told, for a good chunk of the season, I definitely did coast along throughout the season. I felt like I did strategize a fair bit with Anthony. Anthony was very much to put things into practice. I like strategizing, but then when it came to putting things into practice, Anthony was very much the go-getter. In regards to the Alliance, absolutely. I would say I was probably I wouldn't say the weakest link. It's a very negative way of saying it, but the fourth strongest. Let's put it that way. The fourth strongest. Hey, we all were there. And knowing that, I kind of had to strategize the way I had to strategize, insofar as going against them at some point.
John wants to know, Mark, say you stuck your neck out and ended up getting the blood veto, and Sam put up Dane next to Kiki. Would you have used it to save Kiki and evict Dane?
Wow, that is a good question. I'm just trying to think.
You wanted to bring Kiki to Final 2?
I wanted to bring Chelsea to Final 2. I wanted to bring Kira.
Kira.
Kira, it's Final 2, yeah. No, I couldn't bring Kiki to Final 2. She's too good.
Right,
she would have done a lot of damage in that house. Okay, so I'm trying to put my head in day 34 headspace.
Right.
That week, Sam. Okay, so it's Dane and Kiki on the block. This sucks, but I probably would have had to. Yeah, I probably would have had to take out Kiki. It was in front of the whole house. I'm basically saying I didn't have any other strong alliance at that point. I wasn't close enough with Corey or another person to kind of catapult me to the next week. Me taking out Dane is basically saying, all right, a big, go away alliance. Adam Anthony, you're not going to be on my side anymore. And I would have had to scramble to work with other people, which wasn't happening at that point. No.
Becca also has 2 points to make. Has anybody told you that you look like Seneca Crane from the Hunger Games?
No, I haven't got that yet. I've got a few different people, but no, I'll take that as a compliment.
I've never watched Hunger Games, so I don't know. I'm an adult.
Wait, I'm going to Google this right now. What is it? Seneca what?
Crane.
Seneca Crane. All right, let's see. Seneca Crane.
Oh, I should have Googled it. Is it?
Oh, yeah, that looks right. Yeah. Go ahead. You know what? All right, so that's what it looks like right there. I don't know if that...
we're not going to be able to see.
No,
it's fine. Cool. It's fine. Thanks, cool. Becca, making more work. Ding, I'll put it in the edit. Let's see if I remembered to come back to this part. Wait, here's the follow-up. Have you followed your biggest stan, Johnny, on Twitter? He legit is your biggest fan. Do you know a Johnny on Twitter?
Yeah, good old Johnny. He's always sticking his neck out for Team Mark. Good dude. I have followed him on Twitter. He's always fighting the good fight.
Good.
Always,
now, I want to just say this because we talked before we went live, and I kind of I want you to be able to tell people, because I thought it was kind of interesting, about who was there supporting you on finale night and who watched the whole season, because I think people would find it interesting to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I said coming into the show, my parents, they're fairly religious and, wouldn't be the biggest fans of the show.
Right.
And I did feel fairly conflicted about that throughout the season. And my mom, actually, I found out after the show, watched the entire season. I was blown away. And my mom was at finale and like, I remember there's a certain point where Arissa was like asking some questions to some of the jury, and I completely spaced out, and I was just looking at my mom like, "Hello, you're there. How's it going?" And she's like, in like the third row, she's like, "Yeah, I'm here," and that was really, really special, to know that like having that support was very special.
I do. I was surprised, and I thought that was very great to hear that your mom was at finale. So I knew that people would love to hear that as well. I want to go to your last two questions.
Sure.
This one that I always take from Melanie because I kind of like it. Now, you said you haven't gone through the whole season yet, but is there anything that you wish you had an answer to that maybe, like I said, you have hundreds of live feed watchers watching this right now. So is there anything that you were like, ooh, I wish I had more clarification on that situation, or something that you wish you knew the truth about, to ask us? And it's okay if you don't.
The good thing is, so yes and no. I mean, as the Pretty Boys, like, I felt we had a lot of the information in the house on lock. Pretty much anything that was said kind of got back to us at some point.
Right.
Understanding the general trajectory of the game, I like watching the episodes until where I got up to like my HOH, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I understand, everything kind of like made sense. I would have loved to maybe get a bit more intake or insight rather on how the week of my HOA, of my being on the block against Kiki with Sam nominating me, how that all went down, because there was a lot of back and forth of like, is Mark the target, is Kiki the target, maybe a bit more clarification on that. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure you were the target.
Yes, at the beginning, that's what I felt.
At the beginning, I'm pretty sure chat will... Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. No, Kiki was originally the target going in.
I was told otherwise, yeah.
According to chat, Kiki was the Kiki was because Adam was saving Mark. That's right. That's right. Adam was pushing to save you. Now, granted, Sam could have changed. Sam is ultimately the one in control, but Adam was fighting for you at that point. At that point, he was fighting for you in the beginning of the week.
Good man.
According to chat.
According to chat. All right, so you guys will probably know more about that. Yeah. That was a very confusing week, I'll say that.
It is a very confusing week. Our town wants to know, as for your final question, is there anything that you learned coming out of this game that you didn't know about yourself before you started playing it? And I mean, now you've had kind of more time. I know I asked you that on your phone interview, but now you've had like more time. So is there anything that you've learned about yourself that you didn't know about yourself coming out of this game?
It's a good question, our town. I would say probably just opening up to people and like the ability to just, I don't want to say being vulnerable, but just, well, maybe that's a good word. Just sort of like sharing your experiences, sharing your life story, and like allowing people to have an influence on you instead of just putting up like a big sort of block between you and other people. This is a very much a social game, and after a while, you do develop some connections with people, maybe on a game level, an emotional level, and for the longest time, I was very much like a brick wall. It's just like if you say something and I ain't liking it, you're just saying words and it's going over my head. I'll just nod and be like, yeah, but nothing's changing my mind. And I took some time, and it was good to open up to people and hear their stories as well. So I'd say that's probably one of the biggest things I learned about myself.
Perfect. Well, I want to say I am so glad that we got to see more of your insight in what you were thinking this season as you went through these specific scenarios. Now, actually, you know what? Before I give you full screen, and then we have a few other fun surprises for you, I just want to let everyone know one more time really quickly, if you want to watch any of our past shows back, you can check them all out over at yourrealityrecaps.com/bbcan, not just for this season, but for any of the previous seasons of Big Brother as well. Of course, if you want to see us do these shows live, make sure you become a fan on YouNow, yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow. You'll get alerted every time we go live. You can hang out in the chat room, and it's where we do the shows live. And of course, we do more than just Big Brother. Amazing Race, Survivor, Bravo, Drag Race. We're always talking something every single night of the week, so make sure you become a fan over there. It is completely free to become a fan. I know some people were confused and said, oh, you're saying become a subscriber. A subscriber is different. A subscriber lets you watch back all of our previous shows. We have thousands of shows over the past 4 years over on YouNow. So if you subscribe over there, I think it's $3.99. Then you can watch all of our shows. You don't have to wait for me to edit them like this one and put it on the website. But becoming a fan is free. You get to watch the show live for free. It's all free if you just become a fan, or if you want to see the shows back instantly and not have to wait. You get a few other benefits, sure, then you can subscribe. But we've got to move on now because become a patron if you really want to help support us. Patron is our private Facebook group, which also has weekly private shows, weekly giveaways, and of course the after shows with the house guests like we're doing with Mark after this show. Becoming a patron or just doing a one-time donation at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal are great financial ways to support this show. We couldn't do it without all of your support. We have so much we want to do for Big Brother 21, from live feed updaters, 24/7 again, to the flashback times, our house guest shows, the trash draft game, but we need your guys' support to do it. So we hope that you guys will financially support us. If you cannot, make sure that you at least thumbs up and subscribe, hit that bell on YouTube, leave a comment below, or a 5-star rating and a nice review in iTunes, as well as just retweeting, sharing, favoriting, liking, all of our stuff across social media, and make sure that you're sharing and following us in all those places. Those are great free ways to help support our shows. Of course, if you have any Amazon shopping to do, please use our link, yourrealityrecaps.com/Amazon. You don't pay any more, and we get a little bit back. You could also click on whatever Amazon ad is in the sidebar of our website, or click on any of the ads around our website is actually very helpful. And of course, if you're into late night gaming, check out our Twitch, yourrealityrecaps.com/Twitch, where we're playing Fortnite or Zelda or other Mario Karts, who knows, but check it out if you're into that. And thank you guys all, as we're coming to the end of these interviews, for your support all season. Again, we couldn't do it without all of you. I will shut up now and say, Mark, what do you want to say to all of your fans that came out to watch you live on this show, and we'll be watching it back later? The floor is yours.
Well, it's going to sound very anti-villain, because the character you saw on TV was not the character you might see now. But first off, it was a great game. I'm honored to play with the people I played with. I felt like I played, honestly, in an all-star season, and just being in the presence of Adam, Dane, Anthony, and just really the rest of the cast was absolutely incredible. And I want to say that, like, after the show, it really, like, you know, it's just a game. It really is just a game. And there's good in everyone. I've noticed that, like, just walking around, and it doesn't matter who's saying what about you. This is for everyone in life right now. It's just a motivational thing. It doesn't matter what people are saying, what you heard someone say about you. There's good in every single person. So just always remember that.
And if you want more good, and if you have more questions for Mark, where do you want people to follow you? What social media do you use the most? Instagram, Twitter?
Instagram's probably the best. My Instagram handle is a short story about Mark. It was just kind of like a little joke we had on the season going on. So,
okay.
Yeah, you can follow me over there. A short story about Mark. What do they say, the kids these days? Slide into the DMs?
Slide into the DMs. Okay.
As long as it's, you know, nothing scandalous, I do respond. I actually do respond to pretty much all the DMs if they're, like, questions about the game and whatnot. Yeah. And yeah, if you have any questions, serious questions, by all means, please.
I've been married 20 years. Send all your scandalous things my way, everyone. Send them to my... No, you can't, because mine are private. Whatever. I will put the links to all of Mark's social medias below this video so that you guys can interact with him. Thank you, everybody that asked questions. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all of them. I tried to go with the ones that I thought the most people were asking in certain ways. But just thank you, Mark, for taking time to come here and answer your fans' questions. Congratulations, Becca. Once again, #1 fan, Becca.
Yo.
She's your #1 fan, Mark. Everybody, I will see you guys back here on Tuesday with Corey, and then I'll have the rest of the schedule for you for the rest of the week on Tuesday. Patrons will be over there in the patron group in a few minutes. See you guys all later. Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.